Hello, welcome to Library Connection. I'm your hostess, Mandi Cantrell from the Comer Library. I'm glad you've joined us today. Before we get started, I want to thank TV47, Chris, and everyone who helps us put on our program, and especially our sponsor, First Bank of Alabama. Thank you so much for sponsoring our program. Today, we're talking about a community event that's coming up. It's spring in the Marble City, so you know what that means, Marble Festival. Tara Douglas has joined us today. We're going to talk about the Marble Festival as well as her dad, Dr. Ted Spears, who is the chairman of the Marble Festival and have been the entire time, I believe.
18 years.
18 years. Wow. Thank you so much for planning all of this and doing this for our city. It brings a lot of folks in, and we enjoy it every year. So thank you for what you do.
Well, thank you all for working hard, and we got a lot of people involved. It's not just one person. It's 30 or 40 people working hard most of the year. So that's a wonderful thing for the Sylacauga area.
For those people who don't know, what is the magic of Marble Festival?
Well, it's a cultural exchange with the city of Pietrasanta in Italy. And it was initiated by the Alabama State Council on the Arts to have a give and take with the community that had some things in common. And Pietrasanta is one of the marble capitals of the world. It's where Michelangelo carved the statue of David. And of course ours is a historical thing that started as a result of the end of the Indian Wars, and land became available, and a marble has been discovered by General Jackson's surgeon, Ed Gant. And so it's been a livelihood for the community for well over 100 years.
That's exciting, and it will be here for several more hundred years, I believe.
Yeah.
Right. All right, so every year an Italian sculptor comes from Italy and sculpts here, and then sculptors from all over the country come. Is that correct?
Yeah, that's correct. And the purpose is for these people who are in this country to have an opportunity to deal with a master sculptor who is world known, throughout the world.
Yes.
And this year, the person that we have, George Victor, is probably the best prepared and has done more excursions and workshops than anyone that we've had. So we're fortunate this year.
That is wonderful. Now, Tara, I know you do a lot with all the events going on, but that's one of the things that you handle is the Italian sculptor coming in. Is that correct?
Yes.
Tell us who we're getting. Well, I know we know his name, but tell us about him this year.
So George Victor, he actually grew up in Germany, but he has lived in Pietrasanta since 1979. So I think he claims Italy as his own.
After that long.
And he's been doing exhibitions of his art since 1983. So as Dad said, he's got a lot of experience. He does beautiful works. His favorite is Italian marble, but he also does German limestone and also French limestone. And he does terracotta, bronze. He does a lot of different types of art. But we're excited for him to get to experience Sylacauga marble.
Wow. Now, I know he is not the first one from Italy to come. They come every year. And you're usually in charge of getting them around. That's quite a challenge, I'm sure.
It is. And fortunately, we have Priscilla Cleveland at Blue Horizon Travel who handles all of the flights for us.
Wonderful.
Because you think you know what you're doing until you get into it and you realize you need somebody like Priscilla Cleveland to get them here. But even with her hard work, sometimes there's trouble with flights, and so that's always the first hurdle, is to actually get them here. And then after that, we hit the ground running. We get them, make sure their phone works, and a lot of times Sarah will help us at the library to make sure that can happen, or else I'm sitting at Verizon for an hour to help them.
Oh no!
But little things like that. We have to get their phone, their car, make sure they know where they're going, make sure they understand where they need to be and when they need to be there. And fortunately, this year George Victor, Jonathan, my husband, was able to FaceTime with him and talk about the tools.
There he
and
is.
he speaks very good English, so we're going to have an easy time, because sometimes the sculptors that come don't speak English at all. But
that is a challenge.
It
Do you
is.
speak Italian?
I do not, but I know a few words.
Oh my goodness! Well, he looks like, oh, that's great.
Yeah, he's going to be a wonderful addition to our sculpting And so I'm excited to actually meet him face to face.
Good. Now, how was he chosen to come?
So the city of Pietrasanta, we have Valentina Foguer, who works for their Civic Cultural Institute, and each year she's responsible for finding a sculptor for us. And so they put out a press release and they have people apply, and then they choose the one that's going to be the best for Sylacauga, and then we're able to get them to come. And from there, we just get them here, and then they sculpt, and they have sent some of the most wonderful sculptors over the last 18 years, and they do such a good job working with our sculptors from across the U.S. and working with the community, and so it's a lot of fun.
Now, what else do they get to do? Now, I know they're here most of the time, sculpting and getting to know the other people.
And most of the time, that's what they want to do. They get here and they want to be there to sculpt and to help. And you know, we have such a great group of sculptors that help each other out. And each year, the Italian sculptor, I can see them, you know, running around talking to all the different sculptors. They're giving them pointers, and you know, they all share a lot about
making friends. Really,
they do. They really do. And the Italian sculptor jumps right into that and does a beautiful job. Just kind of immersing themselves in with our sculptors that are here in the community, and they there are times we're able to take some excursions. You know, Jonathan and I usually take them back to the airport, so that last day when they're not, that 10-day time that they have to do their sculptures is they want to get it done and want to make it perfect. So that's why they generally are at the park and happy to do that. But we're able to take them and show them a little bit of Alabama the day that they leave at least, and have a good time doing that.
That's wonderful. And I know when they don't speak English, that is a bit of a challenge, but you've overcome that.
Google Translate is a big helper.
It is a wonderful thing. But I know getting them lodging and transportation and things takes a lot of work.
It does, but it's worth it, and it's you know, they usually it's, you know, it's a fairly simple thing looking back each year. You know, that day it's a little bit hectic, but they love. Each year they love Sylacauga, and George told me that all of the sculptors that he's talked to that have been here in the past, that they had the best trip and just fell in love with our town, and some of them have never been to the U.S. before, so this is their introduction. Now George has been here twice, and it was over 26 years ago. As he described, it was in the last century that he was here. So,
Well,
but
that's true.
He's been to big cities, so he's been to New York and L.A. He had a big exhibition in Soho, and he's been to Miami and He's been to Fort Worth and Atlanta, I believe. And so this is going to be his first chance to come to Alabama and to see small town USA.
That is great. Well, I'm excited about him coming. He will see small town, and maybe we can change his mind and he'll like Sylacauga marble the best.
And you know, most of them love our marble once they get here. They haven't had an opportunity to ever sculpt with Sylacauga marble, but I've heard nothing but wonderful things, and they love our marble.
Good. Now you've had men, women, families.
We have. We had one year that we had Elena Mutinelli. She brought her husband and her son with her, and so that was interesting to have that dynamic out there. Michele, her son, just played and had the best time here. So her husband and son were able to drive around some and see Alabama while she was working. But we always have wonderful people come.
It's wonderful for us, but it's good for them too, I know. And now they usually sculpt at least one piece.
They do.
And where does that piece go?
That piece goes to the B.B. Comer Memorial
library,
Library. So that's where all of those beautiful works of art are. And then sometimes they're able to do more. If they get done quicker than they thought, again, they look at this as we're going to just keep sculpting because that's what they do and they love. Even though they could have an opportunity to go see some different things, most of the time, even when we try to plan some things for them, they want to be at the park. They don't want to miss out on sculpting. They don't want to miss out on meeting any of the community, so they work really hard.
So please go by and see them. They will sculpt at the park. Let's see, the Marble Festival starts April 7th.
It does.
And it's over the 18th.
Yes.
So they'll begin sculpting on the 7th or 8th, not something like that.
They usually hit the ground running, and we have most of the group there early on in the festival through that first weekend. Some have to leave after that, but we still have a good group the whole time.
That's great. Well, that is wonderful. Well, listen, we're going to pause for a commercial break, and we'll come back and talk some more about the Marble Festival.
Remember your first car? The butterflies you had on your first date? Or your first home? Remember his first steps? Or his first day of school? Remember the thrill of opening your first business? For every milestone, every memory, every first, Think First Bank of Alabama.
Join us for the 18th Annual Magic of Marble Festival in Sylacauga, Alabama, April 7th through the 18th. Watch sculptors from across the U.S. and featured Italian artist George Victor at Central Park create masterful works of art. Shop for original sculptures at the B.B. Comer Memorial Library, sign up for a quarry tour, and participate in the marble scavenger hunt. Marble industry supporters include Emrys, Omya, and Sylacauga Marble Quarry.
Welcome back to Library Connection. I'm here with Dr. Ted Spears, who is the chairman of the Marble Festival and has been for 18 years, and Sara Saino, who, what is your title with the
Marble Festival? I'm the administrative assistant, but I also work at the B.B. Comer Memorial Library as the library technology specialist.
Yes. And thank you, Sara, for all your help over the years at the library with technology. She's wonderful to ask. Well, Sara does a lot of the behind-the-scenes work, I'm guessing. Is that what you would say?
Absolutely. And the registration, she is the official registrar for the people who come in the States, and she handles all of that, which is probably a mammoth job for anybody else, but she handles it with ease and handles it well. So that is just one that, without her doing a good job, we don't have a good festival.
That's true. That's true. Well, y'all work well together, I think. Now, the festival begins the 7th. Is that right?
The 7th through the 18th. And it's a free event. The only thing that's not free is the ice cream across the street, and Bluebell will only charge $1 for a giant cup of that.
Yes.
So that's an enticement to people to come. You can have white marble, or you can have your choice of Bluebell ice cream, and they also furnish us the air and other things that go along with it, and they're thrilled with helping us promote it.
Good, good. Yes, they are wonderful. I love Bluebell myself. So what exactly goes on? I guess this is for both of you. I know, Sara, you handled the sculptors coming in.
Yes.
How many are?
So we have 30 registered this year. So it may be one or two more, as the festival progresses. Right. But as of right now, we have 30 sculptors that are registered. And so the library provides the organizational support for the Marble Festival. So my role is to basically make the registration, which is available on the website. Usually it's at the beginning of the year. Normally January is when we open registration. Okay. So there's a form that the sculptors will visit and fill out with some information, and then we take those people and contact them, let them know about Sylacauga if they've never been, or just some general information. Try to help with finding them places to stay, letting them know different places in town that they can visit, different places they can eat, and just kind of what to do once they get in Sylacauga. And so the library's role in that is we're basically the hub of the Marble Festival, other than the sculpting side at Bluebell Park. So the sculptors will visit the library first. They'll get a little goodie bag with some goodies that different people in the...
it's a big goodie bag.
Yeah, that's right.
I watched as Chrissy put those together,
yes,
which is wonderful.
It is. We've had a lot of community support, so several people have donated and organizations have donated items to go in this bag, and it's just, kind of helpful little things that they may need while they're here. So, so from there, we kind of direct them where to go. If we have any programs, those will happen inside the library, and, just hospitality is basically what we do.
Good Southern hospitality is great. Now, this has changed over the years, I'm sure, the events and things that we do, but now there are tours of the quarry. Is that correct?
That's right. tours of the quarry, and then because of the marble selection, Sarah and her group, they have tours within the library. And this year, and of course, you and Sarah will explain that today at our board meeting, the new children's room that is
Yes.
a marble motif, and it recognizes the marble history of the community, and with displays, and of course, a fabulous marble collection. And so that was not intended in the beginning, but we saw that it was just a natural, and so we started making sure that all of the Italian pieces get to go to the Como Library,
Right.
and there's many other American libraries, and Sarah can tell you about the sales room and
Yeah.
what goes on there, which is really an important part of it, and a lot of people come because of that.
Okay. Now, tell us about the sale room. At least right into.
So the sale room is located in the high tower room of the library, and the sculptors will bring in different pieces of artwork that they'd like to sell. It's not always marble, but a lot of times it is, but it can be things like wood or different types of stone. And so we have a great group of volunteers that work with that room, and they will help set up the pieces to be sold. And then during the Marble Festival, patrons, groups can come in and view those pieces, and if somebody would like to take something home, they can. We have T-shirts that are for sale. We have little things, so if you don't have a very big wallet, you can buy something for $5, kind of as a little token to take home with you. But if you would like to spend upwards of several $1,000s, the sculptors have pieces for sale, and they also have some pieces that are much more reasonably priced. And that kind of helps sculptors too, because everything is free. If that can help pay for their gas when they come, if they sell a piece of artwork. So it's just great. It's great for the community to get to see other pieces of sculpture. We have groups that want to take something home with them, and it helps the sculptors as well.
That's true. That's true. And it's nice to see some of their other work too. We love the marble especially, but wood, different things like that. When do you start planning for the Marble Festival? Probably the day after it's over is what I would guess.
Yeah, well, it's like going to school. You learn the things that you should have done but didn't do, and you make that aware. But we keep in mind that the whole event was a cultural exchange between the city of Sylacauga and the city of Pietrasanta. Right. And in that cultural exchange, we have to keep in mind that it has morphed into just a marble festival, but we are looking, and as you said, it changes constantly, and doing what they did in the very beginning, and the visitors brought an opera singer and her entourage. They brought one of the top ballet groups that danced all over Europe, and they came and visited and performed at the high school. And then they brought 8 sculptors with them, and 8 sculptors sculpted here for a while, and then we sent some to Montgomery, some to Birmingham, some to the outlying areas. And then it's been a great interest. In the beginning, Glenn Dasher and the people at the University of Alabama Huntsville, Glenn was the dean of the art school there. He brought 3 or 4 of his students to the first festival. And so it has turned out to be an educational continuum that we are going to increase, and we do some things, and we've got some things, and we have access to some things that we would not have had we not approached it from a cultural standpoint.
Right.
And then, of course, the part of the library is an educational thing, so we have a museum type setup, but the idea is to have young people and middle-aged people and people who were employed at the quarries, a place to go and look at what the future brings and what the past has provided. And so we're thrilled with that particular aspect of it, and it's been able to enable the library to grow in its mission, and the mission of the council has not only been improving the concept of what sculpted is, but also what history is, the importance of education, the importance of music, the importance of dance. And we've seriously talked about and looked at developing more along the entertainment parameters than what we've done, but it's certainly already more than just the educate the people about marble.
Right.
It's a cultural exchange that we look at systems and things that can make our children and our young people and the people who travel, and a lot of people travel to Pietrasanta as a result of the things that they learned about here.
Wow.
So
I think it's wonderful because I think children don't really see sculptures unless you have a friend that is a sculptor. But to see somebody actually go through the process, go by the park across from Bluebell, watch them sculpt, go back in a couple of days and see how it's changed. And I think that's wonderful for kids to see that in action. Maybe they're going to be a sculptor when they grow up. Who knows? I don't know. Well, listen, we're going to pause for just a minute for a commercial break, and we'll be right back and talk some more with Sara and Dr. Spears.
Remember your first car? The butterflies you had on your first date? Or your first home? Remember his first steps? Or his first day of school? Remember the thrill of opening your first business? For every milestone, every memory, every first, think First Bank of Alabama.
The all-new Marble City Pharmacy in Sylacauga is your destination for the highest quality health care. Our remodeled and expanded pharmacy gives us the space to serve more patients. We've added a drive-through window for those times when you don't feel like getting out of your vehicle. And we still offer delivery within city limits. We feature a full line of over-the-counter medications and supplements. And don't forget our stunning new gift department. New building, same great people. Marble City Pharmacy, here for life.
Join us for the 18th Annual Magic of Marble Festival in Sylacauga, Alabama, April 7th through the 18th. Watch sculptors from across the U.S. and featured Italian artist George Victor at Central Park create masterful works of art. Shop for original sculptures at the B.B. Comer Memorial Library, sign up for a quarry tour, and participate in the marble scavenger hunt. Marble industry supporters include Emrys, Omya, and Sylacauga Marble Quarry.
Welcome back to Library Connection. We're talking about the Marble Festival coming up April 7th through the 18th. Please go by, watch the sculptors. Pick up a flyer from the Comer Library or anywhere else you find these flyers. It tells the things that are going on. Scavenger hunt is going on right now. Sara, tell us about that?
So that's done by the Comer Museum, and it's actually already started. It started on March the 23rd. And it runs until April the 13th. And so there are flyers that you can pick up at the Comer Museum or the library, and it has pictures of different pieces of marble around the town. And so you will try to locate those pieces and then turn those forms back in, and there are prizes for that. They're also doing a kids scavenger hunt as well, and that takes place inside the Comer Museum. So, you know, if you have a few minutes, you know, some things that you'd like to do with your kids or grandkids, please go by and, you know, join the hunt.
That's fun. Go to the museum, especially. They have, and come see us at the library, but the museum has wonderful, wonderful things to show. And also there are tours of the cemetery.
Yes, on April the 11th and 12th, that's a Saturday and Sunday, there will be cemetery tours that are being done by the Historical Commission at the Sylacauga Cemetery, which is kind of like behind CVS. And so those take place from 1 o'clock to 3 o'clock.
Nice to learn a little bit about the history of Sylacauga.
Yes.
And we wanted to bring out too, if you go to the Marble Festival website, you see videos from the last few years of the sculptors. How does that happen?
So Samantha Manchin is really the person behind that, and she works at the B.B. Comer Library. And we just try to do brief interviews with all the sculptors while they're here, just ask them some questions. It's nice to have those to look back on, the sculptors that we've had in the past, and then also that helps with the grants that are able to make the Marble Festival possible, as just sort of an added extra element, of just documentation, getting to know the sculptors and seeing the people who actually participate.
She does a wonderful job.
She does.
That editing and everything.
She does everything. The interview, she sets up the equipment. She does the interviews. She edits them. I mean, it is a huge task, and she does it. She does an amazing job. So you can find those on our YouTube channel.
Okay.
You can also find them on the magicofmarblefestival.com.
Okay, great. What does this Marble Festival bring to our community? What is the impact here, you think?
The impact is primarily cultural, but it's also financial, because we have bus tours who come from all over the state,
Yes.
and schools, what have you. And it's not just during the 2-week Marble Festival, but it's throughout the year.
That's true.
And the library gets bus loads of people that come in, and as you know, you've been kind enough to do some tours for us, and
I enjoy it.
We promise you you're going to have more. And so this is in keeping with it. That I had a letter from the Executive Director of the State Arts Council, Elliot Knight, and they help us with the people who are coming. And he says in his letter, I have the distinct pleasure of providing support for artists, arts, and the cultural organizations and the creative initiatives that go on as a result of our involvement. And so it's not just we're involved with Montgomery, we're involved with the whole world. And they are thrilled with their position in it. And the videos, the things that are different. Elliot told me after the first year we did the interviews with the sculptors, with Sam and Sarah, that was the first time he realized that he didn't know what was going on at the Marble Festival. And so he said, now I know whether or not we are requiring some of those things so that we know what's going on in other places too.
Right.
And so that was one of the benefits for it.
Yes, that's great.
Just,
Well, I'll tell you, I hate to say it, but we're out of time.
Well, we appreciate your giving us this opportunity.
I'm glad to do it.
You and Sarah are going to get to do a brief talk at the board meeting today.
Yes, Arts Council board meeting.
And mainly what y'all are doing there. So thank you so much for
Well,
your
you're welcome.
hard work.
Thank
man.
you. Pick up a flyer, come to the Marble Festival.